And a good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, WEIU Interim General Manager. On the phone today, we have Danielle Swango. She's the Executive Director of CCAR Industries in Charleston. Welcome, Danielle.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about CCAR.
I appreciate you calling in and being available, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the things that you guys are doing different, as well as what your everyday stuff is with all this COVID stuff going on. But why don't we just start? I always like to play dumb, which normally I don't really have to do. It's just, if people have no idea what CCAR Industries is, what you do, give us an overview of your program there.
Yeah, absolutely. We provide services, an array of services to individuals with intellectual or developmental disabilities and their families here in several county area outside of Coles County. And we actually, just a little bit of a history, came from parents groups that had started in the mid-50s and then eventually developed into CCAR Industries in 1969.
Okay. And I know you have a lot of different programs, so where would you like to start off in some of the things that you offer the communities?
Yeah, we have a client and family services program, and under that program they have intermittent and family solace services, and that's to support individuals that live in the community or with the family. They also have a home-based support service program where they can choose the services that they need to remain in the community, and a respite program, which is also very important. This is where families can request care in their home so that they can get a respite from the hard work that they do, and it enables the families to keep their loved one at home. And this is available for families that have not yet been selected to receive DHS funding.
Okay. Now, how many families or individuals, or how do you track how many people that you are helping and supporting at CCAR?
We actually have a census, and from 2019, just looking back at our fact sheet, we had provided services to 245 adults and 182 children.
And you said you cover more than Coles County. How big is the CCAR industry kind of a map?
We provide Douglas, a little bit in Shelby and Clark and Edgar.
Okay. Talk about your staff, how they're working together and are adapting to changes since the COVID-19 pandemic, I guess started around 7 weeks ago.
Yeah, we actually closed our Community Day service programming on Saturday, March 14th. So we're now entering our 8th week of reduced services. So what we are providing right now is our 24-hour SOLA homes, of which we have 10 in Charleston area, and the client family service program for the folks in the community.
You said they're still at home. Does that mean that somebody stays with those folks 24/7?
Yes, in our 10 agency-owned homes, they do 24/7.
Okay. What about safety precautions that you have to take to reduce risk, and you've kind of implemented over there at CCAR?
Well, there are no visitors and very limited trips into the community, which really are more a van ride or just a change of scenery. We do staff temperature checks twice a shift. They have a checklist to confirm that they don't have any of the COVID-19 symptoms. We ask any staff that have traveled to self-quarantine. Of course, deep cleaning and disinfectant, the commonly touched surfaces, social distancing whenever possible, but that's not always possible with the direct care.
I understand, yeah.
Yeah, we've also moved to telephone and online meetings.
Now, how many people actually work for CCAR at your actual building there for those who don't know, it's next to Poly Ice Pizza, I guess would be the best way, right?
It is. Yeah, we actually have a campus right here. The 2-story brick building is our administrative building, and we have a community day service program here for seniors. And then we have in front of Poly Ice a recycling center. Behind Poly Ice is a manufacturing plant and vocational services. And then our homes. Altogether, we have about 140 to 150 staff at any given time.
Holy, I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah.
Other things that I know your Chastity Parker, your assistant, had said that you're still needing some donations and for some interest in the community. What are you looking for there at CCAR Industries right now?
Well, first I need to thank those that have already provided donations to us. We really appreciate that. We've received donations in the way of masks currently, or items to make masks. One of the problems we've had with COVID-19 is with the shortage of PPE and it being prioritized to hospitals and healthcare, is that we've not been able to purchase N95 masks, and we have a very limited supply of some other PPE. And so being able to give our staff the cloth mask, at least one for those providing direct care, they have multiples, has been tremendous. We've also had families and community members step up and spoil some of our homes. They've had some food deliveries, or they are purchasing items off of our Amazon wish list and some monetary donations. Anything in that line would be very helpful. We have people, as we said, that are home 8 weeks now, 24 hours a day. They definitely need some more activities to stay engaged. And people can jump on our website, which is CCARindustries.org. We have a PayPal link on the website for donations. We also have a link to our Amazon wish list. And I'd like to mention that tomorrow is the 5th, which is Giving Tuesday. And any support we receive, whether it's financial or otherwise, we greatly appreciate, and it goes towards the care of our folks.
Now, you also, since you have the manufacturing portion of it, could you manufacture masks or anything there? Is that a possibility?
We don't have the setup with sewing machines, but we do have some staff that have those skills that are helping out.
Oh, that's neat. Mm-hmm. I know one other thing you want to talk about was, and I don't know much about this, so it's called Adopt a Home program. Can you tell us about what you do there with CCAR Industries and Adopt a Home?
Yeah, this is one of the ways that the group can give back to the community without the financial commitment.
Okay.
What we're looking for is social interactions for those that live in our 24-hour homes. That's a very important part of their lives, and it means a lot to them. So it could be a group that wants to plan special celebrations for birthdays or holidays, maybe pizza parties or game nights. If you have an interest in planting some flowers, maybe doing some of that in the yard with them and teaching them about that, providing music, whatever your group's interest is, they would love. So this is perfect for a business, church group, fraternities, sororities, athletic groups, group of friends, just any group that's looking to spend quality time and give back to their community. They can definitely adopt one of our homes.
I'm sorry. What's been the response to that? Have you had a few people do that, or groups? I mean,
we've actually just this past year had interest from a couple sororities, and of course with EIU being online remotely learning at the moment, that's been put on pause. But
there you go. You also unfortunately had to cancel your popular trivia night, but you've hopefully we'll bring it back in 2021. I know that's been a big event for CCAR Industries for years. How, I guess, upset were you that you had to cancel it, and talk about that just a little bit if you can?
Yeah, we were very upset. This was going to be our third year, so we're really starting to grow our trivia night and have some stability with that. And with those proceeds, we help individuals go to Camp New Hope for summer camp who would otherwise not be able to afford to go.
Yeah.
So that was set to be April of this year. We're hoping to do it in June, but at this time we've had to cancel for 2020 for safety. We do have a tentative date of April 3rd, 2021.
Sounds like, I mean, hey, I think everything for 2021 is it is a date now. Don't say tentative. That puts that aura of scaredness in there. It's going to be,
That's true. Yeah, April 3rd, 2021, we will resume our trivia nights to support our folks. And in 2021, we're actually adding another layer with any remaining funds after we provide the funding for everybody to go to camp that would like to. We will have a scholarship available for CHS seniors going to either EIU or Lakeland that is pursuing a degree in human services.
Okay. What do people just not know about CCAR Industries? When you talk to people in the community or speak on things in front of people, what do they not know about what you all do there at CCAR?
I think the breadth of our services. I had briefly touched on our client and family service program, but we've actually got several more. We have the community day services, which is 4 different locations. People may have heard the term DT or developmental training in the past.
Yeah.
That's now community day services, and we have the senior program in our administration building that I spoke about. We also have our Lincoln Avenue Recycling Center. We've had that center for a long time, but it was in 1999 that we started a partnership with EIU for recycling. And since that time, we have recycled cardboard, office paper, newsprint, and books. And just in FY 2019, we recycled about 1,012,000 pounds of materials.
I was going to ask you about the recycling because it seems like recycling is one of those things that ebbs and flows. People talk about it, they get behind it, and then it kind of drags down, and then somebody else brings it back up. Have you seen the same thing where it ebbs and flows with recycling in this area?
Definitely. Ours has increased or stayed steady just because we provide free pickup to businesses and individuals in the area. Unfortunately, right now with COVID-19, we're not doing any pickup.
Yeah.
But when it's safe, we'll resume that.
With COVID-19, how has it affected your funding? Are you good how are you all funded? And then the second part of the question should be, has COVID-19 really hurt your overall funding at all?
The majority of our funding comes from DHS through the state. A smaller percentage of that comes from our manufacturing plant, and then other third-party grants, which is minimal. Currently, the services we've been able to continue to provide are being paid in full with a couple small enhancements that are only in place until the shelter at home is lifted.
Okay.
For our community day service programs, which have been shut down, that is in question. The state has said that they would make us whole, but there's some question on that around some of the federal incentives that are out there right now. So we are definitely watching everything very closely.
Yeah, I think as everyone is right now.
Yeah.
And then also, since you're funded by the state, and obviously if the state doesn't have a budget by fiscal year 21, does that play into it, or do you are you covered that way?
Well, it does play into it, and we've been through those years where budgets weren't implemented. Our funding continues usually at a flat level. Sometimes the payments slow down tremendously.
That's such a nice way to put it, Danielle.
Yes.
We're talking to Danielle Swango. She's the executive director of CCAR Industries today in Charleston on issues and attitudes. I also noticed on your website, I was looking this morning, that you did put a COVID-19 link on your website for some information. Have there been a response to that, and what led you to make sure that you put that information out?
Well, once this started, we actually got information out to all of our staff immediately, just making sure that they knew where to get more information, what the strategies of CCAR was. And so just having that accessible to anybody any time of the day is very important to have that linked on our website.
Okay. Now, a lot of people out there right now looking for work. Do you have any opportunities at CCAR for employment opportunities, or are you, since everything's slowed down, are you?
No, we are still interviewing. The main need is for those that want to work in a residential program, which is our 24-hour homes. Currently, like I said, those are 24 hours a day. Typically, under normal circumstances, folks would attend a day program during the day, and so typically hours are from 3 p.m. till about 8 in the morning, and we have various shifts, and then, of course, weekends as well. Okay.
Now, is there requirements for that, or basic requirements for anybody that's looking for that?
The basic requirements is a high school diploma or being able to pass testing if they do not have that. The availability, of course, to work evenings and weekends. And then they do get 120 paid training hours prior to being on the schedule.
Okay. What do people ask you the most about your job and COVID-19 and everything, from a personal standpoint? So we learn a little bit more today about Danielle Swango.
Well, actually, everybody's just kind of interested in what is it going to look like when this is over. And I don't have a great answer to that. I know it's going to be different. We're going to have to probably continue to watch the amount of people in a setting and reintegrate those in the community with the ones in our 24-hour homes that we have taken extreme measures to protect.
It seems like right now it's the guessing game out there of when things will be, back to normal, which really there won't be back to normal. But that seems to be the topic of conversation, is what should happen and who's to blame and all that. Do you get tired of the politics part of it and just want to get back to regular work? I find that.
Well, yes, definitely. If we could do our job without the political aspect, we could make decisions much more swiftly and plan better.
But then again, if it doesn't, do you think there'll be more changes coming down the pike if things don't get better in terms of how we have to, social distance and all the things that have kind of been put into play in the last, 7-8 weeks?
Yeah, I think we're going to need to take a hard look at what services were and what they're going to be as we move forward into the future. I definitely think it's going to change regardless how quickly we get back to what we think is normal.
Yep. The other thing I was reading about this morning is that nonprofits such as you and other nonprofits out there actually become more valuable to communities during stressful times such as this pandemic. Do you find that to be true? And do you, when you think about the self-importance of CCAR, does that ring true to you?
Definitely, yes. I think the supports and services that we provide is critical for families. And at a time like this, I think the value of that is realized because what would they be doing if we weren't able to continue?
Yeah. What about staff training? How often does your staff get retrained and updates and things like that so they're on top of the latest procedures and ways to do things at CCAR?
Well, as I said, when they're hired, they get 120 hours, so it's pretty expensive at hire. And then we have 2 different times a year. One is more of an in-house in-service training day, and another one is program where it might be done through meetings, online, but twice per year and then as needed.
Can you tell us a little bit about Danielle Swango and her background and what got you to where you are there today at CCAR?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm from the area, and I had went to EIU to pursue accounting. After graduating, I had decided to stay in the area, and I wanted a job where I could balance both starting a family and a career, and CCAR was an amazing fit. It was actually a part-time college job, one that I didn't know I'd grow to love so much. After graduating, I came on board here as the accountant. In 2005, the director of finance, and then last year I moved up to the executive director.
There you go. What is? How do you describe your management style and how you make everything go at CCAR? What's Danielle Swango's management? I like the word style. We're going to go with style.
Definitely open. I do not pretend to know everything, and I value everybody else's opinion, and I want to know what they're thinking, if they have ideas, if things aren't working well. I think communication is key, and that's probably one of the hardest things to master.
Open door policy, so if someone has an issue or a question, they can come in anytime?
Absolutely.
There you go. What are you most proud of? I know how long you've been the executive director since last fall?
Yes,
okay.
Last spring.
Last spring. Okay. What are you most proud of so far in that as you wrap up kind of year one at CCAR?
What I'm most proud of is staff. COVID-19 has really shown me a different side to staff. I was afraid when this first started and we couldn't provide proper PPE, as they have to go home to their families, that they may make some hard decisions about, is this where they want to be right now? And what we found is all the staff have stepped up, and they have been amazing. They have continued to provide that direct care service and to support our mission. That's one of the things I spend a lot of time talking about here is our mission, that it's one mission for everybody, and we're here to enhance and support individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And they have done that in ways I could not even have imagined prior to COVID-19.
That's cool. Now, criticism. How do you deal with criticism if someone's critical of a decision you made or your CCAR overall?
Usually, if people are critical, oftentimes it's because they don't know the whole story. Sometimes that's information you can share. Sometimes it's not. But I am aware that some of the information I'm privy to, that not everybody is. So it's always hard to have that perspective when they don't have the full story.
So you're willing to sit down and talk to people and one-on-one and say, hey, here's what really happened and go through the details? Yeah,
as long as it's information I can share, I will.
That's good. No, now, I know a lot of people right now, when May 1st came, Governor Pritzker said, we're required to wear masks. Do you believe that's the right decision? And all your employees following that, wearing masks anytime they're in and out of other businesses as well as the homes that you service?
I certainly hope that they are. That's the expectation. From what I have seen, I believe that they're wearing their mask, and I do think that is important. The individuals that we support often have multiple health concerns that just comes with having a disability, and so they're at a higher risk if they were to get COVID-19. So I think everybody is well aware of the risk here of working directly with people, and that they have taken those extra steps to do that deep cleaning, disinfecting, wearing masks to protect others.
Since you serve kind of a large area, do you get out and about to all the different areas and homes, or are you mostly an in-house supervisor? How's that work?
Typically, I'm in-house. I like to get out and see what the other programs are doing. We have great stories that come from our programs. One of the things I really like here is how much the programs like to give back to our community, and I think that community is very important. In the last year, they have done picking up trash activities. We typically do Adopt a Corner with the flowers, which of course is on hold here in Charleston. They collect school supplies for URBA. They do food drives for our food banks. They raise money to purchase water for the summer lunch programs. And we also have a backpack project that we partnered with the Charleston Rotary Club all the way back in 2004 that we continue to do. That way, every child that has to enter a DCFS home can go with a backpack full of supplies that's their very own.
Oh, very cool, very cool. We have about 6-7 minutes left. We're talking with Danielle Swango. She's Executive Director of CCAR Industries in Charleston today, and about how they've reacted to the COVID crisis as well as continue to do what they do. Are there other things or events or projects that you would like to tackle as you kind of look towards a 3 to 5 year, forward-thinking plan?
Yes, definitely. We are beginning talks now of what our community day services are going to look like in the more recent months. We're also looking at different housing opportunities as we move forward. There's always going to be people that need the 24-hour supervision. There'll always be people that can live in the community on their home with the proper support, but we're also looking at more supportive housing settings where staff may not be there 24/7, but they're accessible to help people live on their own. I think that's important. I think developing our relationships with the community is also key, so we continue to do things to give back. For example, we have a butterfly garden that we had started last year, and this will be the first year we'll start to see what might come up. I'd like to have that open where Charleston High School, who's across the street from us, could utilize that with their science program.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
If they can. Last year we did our first Fall 18th Street celebration. We partnered with them, and that was to celebrate our 50th anniversary. We had such a great time doing that and giving back to the community. We hope we can do that again this fall.
There you go. You said about the 24/7 and what made me think, and I'm not trying to be negative. What happens if someone who needs 24/7 care and you don't have the person or people, the manpower, or somebody's called in sick? What is kind of how do you react to something like that?
Well, that actually happens on a fairly regular basis. We call in staff, and we're paying a lot of overtime. If we have to, we would consolidate homes, but that would definitely be a last-ditch effort to ensure that they had the proper supervision.
Okay. I got a couple of silly questions to ask you towards the end, so I'll ask you one more question about CCAR. Anything that I forgot that you wanted to get the information out today to our radio and TV fans out there?
Yeah, I just want to touch base on a couple more programs. We have community employment, which is both supported, where we have job coaching that goes out, and we have people that want to do things like stock bread, work at Walgreens. And we have an employment placement service, which is through DOORS. And so if they're referred through DOORS, we help them obtain and maintain community employment. And then our early intervention program, which is children 0 to 3 years old.
Okay.
If they're experiencing developmental delays, we have developmental therapists that provide services to them and their families in their home.
Awesome. All right, now we're going to ask you a question. They're not all silly. Some are serious, all right? So do you have a mentor, somebody that you either looked up to or look up to now that kind of got you to where you are? A mentor for Danielle Swango is?
Yes, a few, actually. One would be my father, who is definitely the example of ethics and honesty. Within the world and the field I'm in, that was Lila McGuire, who was our executive director here for many years.
Yep, we miss her.
Yes, we do. And then also I work very closely with my management team. They've all had extensive years of service in this field as well, and I value all the information they share with me so that we can work together as a team and move forward.
There you go. 2020 vacation plans, if you get to do any, where will you go?
Well, we haven't done a lot of planning this year, but if we get to do anything, it'll likely be camping.
There you go. Advice to young people out there in the world.
Oh, just stay positive. Things are a little bit scary right now and maybe a little harder than they should be, but stay positive, keep moving forward, work hard, and you'll see the success from that.
Favorite place to go to lunch?
Favorite place? Probably Mikasa.
Okay. When this pandemic is over, and it will be over someday, we know, what's the first thing that Danielle Swango is going to do?
Oh, go shopping without a mask.
I think that's on a lot of people's. Do you have an all-time favorite movie that when it's on, you have to watch it or watch part of it? There's always those movies out there. What's your favorite movie?
Probably Dirty Dancing.
All right, now favorite song of all time, since we're calling from WEIU Radio today.
Oh my goodness, that's a hard one. There's so many.
Or maybe an artist or a style of music. I'll simple it for you.
Style would definitely be the grunge era.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Your first car, and what color was it?
That was a Chevy. I'm trying to think what it was called now. A little Chevy car, and it was yellow. My stepdad got it for me because he said it didn't have a lot of power.
There you go. What about your all-time favorite teacher and or professor growing up, that one that you look back and say, that person was really good and motivated me?
Probably 6th grade, and that was Mr. Gokenauer.
Is that here in Charleston?
Yes, here in Charleston at Jefferson Elementary.
There you go. All right, we're about out of time. We're talking to Danielle Swango. She's the executive director of CCAR Industries in Charleston. Danielle, just for our records and for everybody out there, if they need to get a hold of anything, or you at CCAR Industries, why don't you give us the different ways that you can be contacted?
Yes, they can go to our website at ccarindustries.org. They can email me, dswango, SWANGO, at ccarindustries.org. Or our phone number here is 217-348-0127, and they will get your call routed where it needs to go.
All right. Well, I appreciate, first of all, I want kudos to Chastity Parker, who set up this interview and did a lot of the background work. I want kudos to her for doing that, and kudos to you today for coming in, or calling in. I keep saying coming in, but you're calling in, obviously, with social distancing. Danielle Swango, thanks so much for calling in today.
Yes, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, we are WEIU, and we will be back next week with another Issues and Attitudes. And if I recollect, it'll be Senator Dale Ryder will be on next week. We'll be talking to him. This is WEIU. Everybody have a great day.